I had been in a relationship for 2 years with him, and everything was super beautiful. There was a lot of trust. It was like a typical movie relationship. But as time went by, he started getting deeper into my personal life. He knew my whole family, my daughter, where I lived, where I worked. He knew absolutely everything about my life. But I knew absolutely nothing about his, only what he told me, that he had 3 children, each one with a different ex, and he always said that all his exes were crazy. Honestly, I never gave it much importance because I trusted him, and I always told myself that if he were doing something wrong, that would be on his conscience. Eventually, it got to the point where I didn't even know where he lived. From then on, it always felt strange not knowing, and whenever I encouraged him to take me to his place, he would get upset and we would end up fighting, until I said to myself, either he tells me the easy way or the hard way. So my mind came up with a plan. I remembered that all Apple devices can be located through each other, so I got an idea. I took my iPad, prepared it, and waited for the right moment to hide it in his car. That moment came. I had plenty of time to hide the iPad somewhere no one would find it. I left it there for 3 days. By seeing where he was moving around, I deduced that the spot marked by the location was where he lived. Then I gathered my courage and went there. What a surprise I got. I saw him, and when he saw me, he acted as if he didn't know me and went into the workshop where he worked, because it turned out his house was right next to another place where he worked, which I didn't even know about. He went inside and never came out. I saw his car outside, so I stood next to it and said, "I'm not leaving here without my iPad." Since he wasn't coming out, I called his phone. When he answered, I said, "You were really happy to see me, right?" And he replied, "Not at all. I wasn't happy to see you." That's when I understood that the person I had known for 2 years had simply been a lie. On the call, I told him to come out because I wanted my iPad from his car. He answered that it wasn't there, that he had already gone on a trip. I told him, "Of course you haven't gone on a trip, because I have the whole factory surrounded and there is no other exit except the one I'm standing at." Like a coward, he kept denying it, saying he had already left and that he wasn't there. To make a long story short, one of the workers came out and told me he didn't know anyone like that, but I was already very angry and hysterical. I told him they did know him, that they were all playing dumb and covering for him. The worker who first denied it then admitted he did know him and said he couldn't give me the car keys because it wasn't his car. Then the worker went inside to get the keys so he could give me my tablet back. While he went in, I walked up to the car and stayed next to it. From the house where he lived, an elderly woman appeared at the window, and I shouted, "Good evening, does M40 live here?" The woman just looked shocked, closed the curtain, and didn't even answer. Not even the wife came out. At that moment, I didn't know she was the wife, and the woman who looked out was his mother-in-law. The worker came back out, very scared, stood in front of me and said, "Friend, I'll tell you everything you want to know, but please don't yell at the lady anymore." That's when I suspected that woman was someone important to him. I started asking who she was. I asked if she was his mother, and the worker said, "No, she's his mother-in-law." At that moment, I felt like my whole world collapsed. Then I asked if he was married, and the worker said yes. I asked if he had children, and he said yes. I asked for the wife's name, and he told me. I couldn't believe what was happening. I felt like I was in a nightmare I wanted to wake up from. I just cried and screamed as if someone had died. I felt so bad, so devastated. I never imagined that someone who said they loved you could hurt you like that. After that, the worker gave me my iPad, and all I wanted was to go home. Later, he called me and I didn't answer. I sent him a WhatsApp message telling him many things, that he wasn't a real man, that he disgusted me, and that I hoped his wife would find out and leave him, because what he was doing to both of us wasn't right, because she didn't know either. Then he called again and I answered, but I didn't even let him say a single word. I repeated everything I had said in the message. After I hung up, I blocked him everywhere and never heard from him again. From time to time, I see him at a place where I work, but when he sees me, it's like he's seen the devil. He avoids me. Later, I found out his karma came. His wife left him, his brother-in-law threatened him and said he never wanted to see him again, and they didn't let him go back into his house, not even to get his clothes. Then I found out that at his workshop, which belonged to him, many things were stolen. That's when I said, karma exists, and it became clear that the saying, a woman's intuition is never wrong, is true. If I hadn't used my iPad to locate where he lived, I never would have found out he was lying to me to my face.
Before we are born, God separates us into two lines, the good-looking but dumb and the smart but ugly. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I ended up in the second one. It's true that I've always been quite nerdy about my interests, physics and math, and I've devoted a lot of time to them. Even so, several years ago, about 4, I decided to start approaching girls to see if maybe I'd get lucky. But nothing. I've always been rejected. Honestly, I'm disgustingly ugly. No one has ever hit on me, and I've never touched a woman. Even though I've been going to the gym for 2 years and I'm strong and athletic, you can't change your face. I'm not a bad person either. I think I treat the people around me well, which is why I get along with so many people. And that's the thing. All the friends I have and the people I know have had girlfriends and other similar relationships more times than I can count. I go on the internet and everyone my age, I'm 21, adding up relationships and hookups has a double-digit body count or whatever you call it. So I decided to take action. I searched online, found an escort, and we met. I won't go into details, but honestly, it was pretty good. I told her it was my first time, and she was very understanding and kind. It really felt like an earthquake. That was several weeks ago, and I plan to go back after exams. That is, I don't regret anything. I understand there's a debate about the morality of using these kinds of services, but I'm not going to get into that either. There are other subreddits for that. I felt like sharing this story because no one around me knows. Thank you very much for reading.
I met a girl a few years ago. We were very close friends for many years in high school, and when we finished high school, she became the wife of a very close family member, so we ended up being family. I was even a witness at their wedding. After some time, she changed a lot. She started talking badly about other people. I remember once I was going through a hard time and wasn't in a good place, and she made up that I was going to end my life because my parents didn't love me. She used to tell me that over and over. After some time, I got into my current relationship, and out of nowhere, she didn't like him. Actually, she has disliked every guy I've ever talked to. She made up many, many ugly things about my current boyfriend, and she told them to me as if someone else had told her, and she would even say, "Don't tell anyone." After a while, she started asking me if I was still a virgin very frequently, messages at all hours asking the same thing. We could even go weeks without talking, and then in person she'd bring it up again. It felt very strange to me why she was so interested in my intimate life. Obviously, I didn't tell her anything. I knew she liked talking about other people and sharing their private business because she told me very intimate things about others. Once, I told her something just to test her, and she told everyone. After that, I clearly stopped talking to her. Sometime later, her husband, my family member, told me that she had changed. We already hadn't spoken for many months. Then she came to talk to me, but it was to ask for a favor. After that, we talked for 5 days, until one day, the last day we spoke, she started making fun of and talking about my own mother to my face. Inside, I was burning with anger. Obviously, I wasn't going to make a scene, so I played along, but I was done, determined to never speak to her again. I kept asking myself what change her husband was talking about, because this was the worst version of her I had ever seen. Later, I found out that when we were friends, at lunchtime, when her husband's family, my family, would all eat together, she would start talking about me and making things up about me every single day. Even my own family started talking badly about me. I found out so many things that made me feel sick. I learned all of this from someone close who had been there. After that, I didn't even want to see her or talk to her. It stayed that way for months. Then one day I got a video call from her. She told me she was going to be a mom. I congratulated her and felt happy for her. After that, she would text me, but I ignored her. I didn't want to be her friend again. Occasionally, I would ask how she and the baby were doing. One time, she told me to stop talking to me because she didn't want problems with my family. So I stopped talking to her because that's what she wanted. But for me, I had stopped talking to her a long time ago. I'll just say this. Be careful with the questions people you consider friends ask you. When they don't know the truth, they'll make it up.